At 9,000 meters, both engines suddenly died. The plane was falling fast from the sky. Then two F-22 jets heard a kid's call sign on the radio. Nobody could believe who was actually speaking. It was only a 12-year-old girl. What happened next left everyone speechless. Before you watch full story, comment below. From which country are you watching? Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The morning was calm at the airport. The sky was clear and blue. People were walking to their gates with coffee cups and bags. Flight 512 was getting ready to leave for the city of Portland. It looked like every other flight that day. Nothing about it seemed special. Among the passengers was a girl named Lily. She was 12 years old. She had short black hair and wore a green jacket. She carried a small blue backpack. Inside that backpack was something nobody could guess: a worn leather notebook that belonged to her grandfather. He had been a fighter pilot many years ago. His call sign was Falcon. He had flown dangerous missions and had saved many lives. He had taught Lily small things about flying, almost like little lessons hidden inside bedtime stories. She never thought she would need any of it. A year before this flight, Lily had helped calm down a small plane pilot during a scary landing at a local airfield, using only a radio and her grandfather's old notes. After that day, the airfield staff and a few Air Force officers who heard about it gave her an honorary call sign of her own, in memory of her grandfather. They called her Falcon Jr. It was written quietly into a small local flight safety record. Nobody expected it would ever matter again. At the gate, a kind airline worker named Nora walked Lily to her seat. "You are in seat 21A, Nora said with a smile. "That is a window seat. If you need anything, just ask any of the flight attendants." Lily nodded and said thank you in a soft voice. She sat down, put her backpack under the seat in front of her, and pulled out a book to read. She looked like any other kid flying alone to see family. A flight attendant named Grace stopped by her row. "Hi, sweetie, I am Grace. What is your name?" she asked kindly. "Lily," the girl answered. Grace smiled and told her to press the call button if she needed help. Lily thanked her and went back to her book. Nobody noticed anything unusual about her. She was just a quiet child on a plane full of strangers. The plane took off smoothly. The pilot, Captain Daniels, announced they would fly at 9,000 meters and reach Portland in about 2 hours. Everything felt calm. Passengers read magazines, worked on laptops, or slept. It was a normal flight, the kind nobody remembers later. But that was about to change. At 9,000 meters, the first engine suddenly stopped. The plane shook hard. People gasped and grabbed their seats. In the cockpit, Captain Daniels stared at his screen in shock. "Engine 1 is out," he said to his co-pilot, Officer Reyes. They began the emergency checklist right away. They tried to restart the engine, but nothing happened. Only seconds later, the second engine died too. The whole plane shook again, then went silent. No engine sound at all. The plane was now flying with no power, slowly falling through the sky. Captain Daniels quickly called for help on the radio. "Mayday! Mayday! Mayday! This is Flight 512. We have lost both engines. We are at 9,000 meters and descending. We need immediate help," he said, trying to stay calm. Inside the cabin, fear spread fast. People cried. Some held hands with strangers. A mother hugged her small son tightly. Grace tried to keep her voice steady as she spoke over the speaker. "Please stay calm and keep your seatbelts on. The pilots are working on the problem," she said, though her hands were shaking as she walked down the aisle. She stopped near Lily's seat, expecting to see a scared child. But Lily was not crying. She was looking out the window, calm and focused, as if she was thinking hard about something. "Are you okay, honey?" Grace asked gently.
Lily turned to her and said quietly, "Both engines failed. We need a flat place to land." Grace felt a chill. How did this child know that so clearly? Meanwhile, far above, 2 F-22 fighter jets were flying a training mission. Major Ryan Cole, call sign Hawk, was leading the flight. His partner was Captain Mia Torres, call sign Storm. Their radios came alive with the emergency call.
"Attention all aircraft. Flight 512 has lost both engines and is descending near your location, said the control tower. Cole felt his heart drop. Dual engine failure almost never ended well. "Storm, did you hear that?" Cole said. "I heard it, Hawk. Let's move," Torres replied. They turned their jets toward the falling plane. Within minutes, they could see it on radar, slowly gliding down through the sky. They knew they could not fix the engines. All they could do was guide and support. Back inside the plane, Lily made a choice. She quietly opened her backpack and took out a small radio, the same kind her grandfather once used. He had given it to her before he passed away. "This is not a toy," he had told her. "Only use it if lives are truly in danger." Lily's hands were steady as she turned it on and tuned it to the emergency channel. She pressed the button and spoke clearly. "Flight 512, this is Falcon Jr. in seat 21A. I have some knowledge of flight emergencies from my grandfather. I am here if you need help." High above, through their headsets, Cole and Torres heard the second voice join the emergency channel. It was calm, young, and steady. Cole's eyes went wide under his helmet. "Storm, did you hear that call sign?" he said, his voice tight. Torres answered slowly, almost in disbelief. "Falcon Jr., that's the kid from the airfield rescue last year, the one the old pilots still talk about." Cole had heard the story too, of a child who once helped a shaking pilot land safely, and who was given an honorary call sign that day. He never imagined he would hear it used in a real emergency, thousands of feet above the ground, from a falling airliner. In the cockpit, Captain Daniels froze for a second. "Did you hear that?" he said to Reyes. "A passenger, and it sounded like a child," Reyes answered, surprised. They had very little time left, and no other options, so Daniels decided to respond. "Falcon Jr., this is the captain. Please explain what knowledge you have," he said. Lily answered without hesitation. "My grandfather was a fighter pilot. He taught me about gliding a plane without power. I can help you find the best landing spot and speed." Daniels made a fast decision. "We accept your help. We have no working engines. We are descending fast and need a safe place to land," he said. Lily looked out the window at the land below. She remembered her grandfather's old notebook, the pages about flying without power, about finding open, flat ground. "Captain, there is a dry field about 30 kilometers south of here. It should be flat enough to land safely," she said calmly. At the same moment, Major Cole's jet reached the area. He spotted the same field on his map. "Flight 512, this is Hawk in the F-22 escort. The field to the south matches what your passenger said. It's your best option," he confirmed over the radio. Captain Daniels turned the plane toward the field, following both the pilot's warning and the calm voice of a 12-year-old girl. "Falcon Jr., how should we manage our speed?" Daniels asked. Lily thought about her grandfather's words from long ago. "Keep your speed steady. Not too fast, not too slow. Try not to make sharp turns. Every turn wastes height," she said. Daniels adjusted the plane carefully, and he could feel the glide becoming smoother. "It's working. Please keep guiding us," he said. Passengers around Lily had grown quiet, listening closely. Grace stood frozen in the aisle, watching the young girl speak with such calm confidence. An older man across the aisle whispered, "Who is this child?" Nobody had an answer, but everyone was thankful she was there. As the field came into view, Lily gave her last piece of advice. "Land gently. Keep the wings level. Be ready to leave the plane quickly after it stops," she said softly. Captain Daniels replied, "Understood. Thank you." The final moments felt endless. Passengers held their breath, some praying quietly, some holding hands with the person beside them. The plane touched the ground hard, bounced once, then skidded across the dry field, throwing dust into the air. It shook violently before finally coming to a stop. For a few seconds, nobody moved. Then Captain Daniels spoke over the speaker, his voice shaking. "We are down! We are safe! Everyone, please evacuate now!" The cabin burst into relief. People cried and hugged each other. Grace rushed over to Lily and pulled her into a tight hug. "You saved us," she said, tears running down her face. Lily hugged her back, feeling her own hands finally start to shake from the fear she had held inside. Outside, the two F-22 jets circled low above the field, watching passengers walk safely away from the plane.
Major Cole felt tears in his eyes. He keyed his radio. Control. Flight 512 is down safely. All passengers are out. A young passenger helped guide the landing, he said. The reply came back, filled with quiet respect.
Understood, Hawk. Tell her the whole team is proud of her. On the ground, Captain Daniels walked over to Lily and shook her hand. Thank you, he said simply. You helped save everyone on this plane. Lily smiled through her tears. My grandfather taught me. I just remembered what he said, she replied softly. News of the landing spread quickly. People everywhere heard about the brave 12-year-old girl who helped guide a powerless plane to safety. Pilots and airline workers praised her calm thinking. Her story reminded everyone that courage does not depend on age, and that sometimes the quietest person in the room carries the most important knowledge of all. An official investigation later confirmed that a rare mechanical fault had caused both engines to fail at nearly the same time. The final report noted that the safe landing was due to the skill of the flight crew, the support of the F-22 escort, and the timely guidance given by a passenger identified only by her call sign, Falcon Jr. It was one of the first times a child had ever been named in such a report. Major Cole later said in an interview that hearing that call sign on the radio that day was a moment he would remember for the rest of his career. Lily went back to her normal life after that day, back to school and homework and simple routines. But she never forgot the moment at 9,000 meters when the engines failed, and how her grandfather's old lessons, kept safe in her memory, helped bring everyone home.